Let me welcome everybody to our Edge for Vets connection session. You see down below New Jersey Transit. This is a program to support veterans and service personnel in New Jersey to find jobs that can lead to careers with New Jersey Transit. And you see it, the whole story is up there in the logo. The program is called Edge for Vets. And by the way, when I say vets, I'm talking about military veterans, but transitioning service personnel, National Guard, spouses even. If you've served, then we want to serve you. So, but you'll hear me refer to vets today, just as a shorthand, but I'm talking about everybody who's military service personnel. The program has 4 parts to it. You see them there: vision, values, skills, and action. And again, I'll describe all that as we go through. But the whole objective is to give you an edge that can lead to a job that can then lead to a career and give you the life that you want. And I'll explain everything in that regard. But first, what I'd like to do is give Lauren Clark, our coordinator at New Jersey Transit, a chance to offer a welcome on behalf of the agency. And Lauren, if you would just do that, that'd be wonderful.
Thanks so much, Tom. So hi, everybody. Really, really happy to see so many participants here. We had our first session a couple weeks back, and I introduced myself then, but it's worth saying again. I've worked for New Jersey Transit for about 3 years and have loved every minute of it. I too came from outside. I had no previous experience in public transportation and found a great career here. So hopefully, Edge for Vets gives us an opportunity to help you guys get in here too and, see what kind of work is possible at New Jersey Transit. So thanks so much. And I dropped my email over there in the chat. So if you want to reach out to me anytime, I am here for you. Okay.
Wonderful. And Lauren goes to one of the important parts about the program, and that is what we recognize is in this day and age, everything is digital. The application process is digital. And very often you go to a big agency and you want to find a job, you apply online, and possibly, since you don't know anybody, then your application can fall through the cracks. So what we're looking to do is put together real people, human beings, faces on the other side of that ledger on the New Jersey Transit side. And that's what today's workshop is all about. It's the connection phase to give you an understanding of who's on the other end. And we're going to go through the whole process for how you can apply and how the folks on the other end are going to know about that so that you don't fall through the cracks. Nobody can guarantee anybody a job, but what we're looking to do here is to create a system of support. And saying that, let me just cut to what the agenda for today is going to be. As I mentioned, and Lauren alluded also, this is the connection workshop. The first workshop was step 1, the preparation piece, which we did 2 weeks ago. And we started you on a process to, well, understand what Edge for Vets is, how it works, the benefits that you get. But we also gave you the start of your plan for success. We started working on the 4 elements of Edge for Vets and the whole process to help you translate your strengths from the military to gain that edge that we talked about to get hired. I'm going to do, some refresher in that area today. Many of the folks who joined us 2 weeks ago are with us, but we've had others who've joined us since then. And so I'll be refreshing that preparation piece as a way to, give you a refresher, but then also for the new folks, bring them up to speed. But the critical piece today, the one we're going to really focus on, is this connection piece. Once, think of it as bookends. On one end, preparation, learn how to translate your strengths in the military. Then in the middle, we give you access to the online course, and I'll go into all the details of that, but you'd get a chance to watch videos, do exercises, and work at your own pace. And that's the important piece, to create your plan for success that articulates your strengths in a personal way that can give you that edge when on the back end, the bookend on the other end, is the connection piece, where the HR reps inside New Jersey Transit who represent the 4 areas of hiring are able to introduce themselves to you so you know who they are. We're going to explain how you do the application process, but then how folks on the inside are going to know about that and know you. First part though is the preparation piece, the connection. Then you see the third bullet. Today you're going to meet the HR reps. And then I'm going to also talk about how you pull that whole preparation piece together around creating an action statement that can share with that interviewer how, in the online course, you learn how to identify your values and skills that give you the edge. But then the action piece is how are you going to express those values and skills and tell that interviewer in your own language, no jargon, how you can use your values and skills from the military to perform at a high level in Jersey Transit. And that's the thing that's going to ultimately give you the edge and support you to get hired. So I'll go into all of that as we go along. For anybody who just signed on since we started, if you can go into the chat room and put your name and your email address, and if you're a participating veteran, put vet there so that we can know that you're with us and we can keep you posted. And moving again through what the objective here today is, Edge for Vets is seeking to help you translate your strengths from the military, which are enormous and are unique, but you got to be able to put them into your own language, again, no jargon, that can get an HR person who maybe has no military experience a window into you personally to see that you have these strengths and can then say, this is somebody who can bring those talents to our agency. But the ball's in your court to do that. So what we seek to do is the goal, give you clarity on what those strengths are from the military, the values and skills that you develop, and then be able to create a plan for success that articulates them in a way that can get that person to recognize, whoa, this is somebody that really can help us. And that's the whole goal with the interview process, is to get somebody to say yes to you. So Edge for Vets is a system of support to do that prep to help you translate. Then you see down below, followed by connection. And that's what the focus is going to be on today. What are the job opportunities at New Jersey Transit? How does their system work? Because it's not like the private sector. There is a whole set of processes and protocols that you have to follow. And you could get lost if you didn't have support. So that's what we're trying to do in this connection phase today, is explain what the process is, introduce you to the people on the inside who make the decisions so that there are real people over there, and therefore, reduce any chances of falling in the cracks. But then give you an awareness of the process for how you apply and be persistent until you can stay with it. Again, that's what we're going to be doing today. What I would like to do is just take a second, though, because Edge for Vets has been going for 10 years now. We started it in 2011. The program is operated out of Fordham University in New York, and I run the Human Resiliency Institute at Fordham that offers Edge for Vets. We looked around and 10 years ago, and we realized that there were a lot of well-intentioned efforts to help veterans, but the important piece of the missing link in all of that was that there was no preparation in advance of seeking to connect them. There were job fairs, but there wasn't the preparation piece to teach you how to translate your strengths. So we put Edge for Vets into place 10 years ago. In 10 years, 2,000, got many folks with us today. Others will be watching this on video, but over that time, 2,000 vets have taken the program. And I can tell you that the ones who have done the system of prep and then connect and worked with us through the whole process, take the online course, et cetera, up to 8 out of 10 have gotten jobs. So I thought what I would do for anybody who's new with us today is just to share with you the success that can be success for you as well. What we did is we put together a short little video that shows vets the branch that they were in. Then they came to Edge for Vets. They worked with us to translate their strengths. And then we connected them to companies that matched their skills and interests, got them connected. They got on a pathway to get a job. And now they're involved in a career and off on their way. And this is what we want to see for you as well. So I thought what I would do is just play this short clip. And then I want to give you an example of an actual New Jersey Transit success story. But watch this clip. We'll talk about it on the back end.
So come on, America, what do you say? Let's get our vets a job today. When towers toppled in New York, over DC and Shanksville too, where young men and women answered the call, they were faithful through and through. From Iraqis to Afghanistan, their courage knows no bounds. Our young vets have the skills, America, to turn this country around. You never wavered, vets. You were true blue. Now that you have the need, it's time we do. The 2 million strong are young vets, loyal to our nation. They've got the edge, America, to lead the next generation. You never wavered, vets. You were true blue. Now that you have the need, it's time we do. Our young vets are home now. In waves they have arrived. Let's put them to work, America. All they want is a 9 to 5. You never wavered, vets. You were true blue. Now that you have the need, it's time we do. Come on, America. What do you say? Let's get our vets a job today. Come on, America. What do you say? Let's get our vets a job today. Come on, America. What do you say? Let's get our vets a job today. Let's get our vets a job today.
Okay, I wanted you to see that because those are examples of folks who you saw their branch and then you saw the job that they got connected to through Edge for Vets. And I wanted you to see that that this process does work. We did the program in the spring with a cohort of vets in New Jersey who were looking to connect with New Jersey Transit. And you see there an example of a success story from the spring cohort. Andre Hunt got hired in the bus operation and is now on his way. He started in September and he's on his way and on his way to a great career. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about him and specifically what he did as we go along. But what I'd like to do is let me just give you a sense of what this plan for success is that I talk about. As you see, that is the Joan is holding up there the printed document after he completed his plan. We're going to be sending you this workbook that you can use in conjunction with taking the online course, and you can take notes in this as you watch videos and you do exercises to create statements in 4 areas that articulate your strengths. Vision for the kind of work that you want to do, kind of job and career that you want, and the life that you want. A value statement, a skills statement that articulates your strengths. And then I'm going to talk about this today, an action plan that shows that interviewer how you can use your values and skills to perform at a high level. And when you finish that, you hit submit, and out comes a very professional document that then you can combine with your resume to give that HR person an extra window into who you are and the strengths that you can bring to the job. So saying that, let me talk now about the second component after preparation, which is the connection piece and the employer network. And I'm going to continue doing some of this refreshing around the prep piece, but I did want you to first meet the folks on the human resources end who oversee the hiring process in the 4 critical areas that New Jersey Transit operates from. The corporate administrative side is one component, and you see the person responsible for that is Lori Sohn. You've got the surface, the bus operation. Patty Stiles oversees that on the HRN. On the rail side, you've got Vicki Frazier, who oversees that. And then on the police side, you've got Gloria Vrabel. And these are folks that you're going to have a chance to meet today. And they're going to know once you apply. And again, the system for that, I'll explain. But I'd like to just give each of our HR reps from these 4 areas a chance to say hello. And then I'm going to talk some more about the action plan and how you make your case to get that edge to get hired before we go into the actual breakout of what the job opportunities are. Before we do that, I would like to give you a chance to at least meet the reps in our areas, and they'll be talking in greater detail later. But Lauren, I think you're speaking, if I'm not mistaken, for the corporate admin side on Lori's behalf today. So if you want to just a quick introduction to what the corporate admin side is and does.
Sure. So yeah, I'm filling in for Lori Sohn right now. On the corporate side, we have 5 different business lines, and I'll see if I got them in my brain. We have our administrative side, which is stuff like HR, procurement, different types of urban planning. We have our capital program side, which is building, like building bridges, for example. We're building a bridge right now. That's a thing that's going on. We have a communications team, pretty self-explanatory, finance and IT, who, keep the lights on and keep the buses and trains running. We have our regulatory team, folks who make sure that we remain in compliance, if you are compliance minded. And then, I think that's most of our corporate side, but really all the back of the house stuff that just make sure, like I said, the buses and trains and light rails keep running for us. That's the corporate side.
Yeah, and again, the reason I wanted everybody to see the person in each of these areas is because, New Jersey Transit, you might think trains, you might think buses, but there are 12,000 employees, and there are a full range of different kinds of job opportunities for you. The specifics of that and how you apply, we're going to get into, but I'd just like to keep this process going on the introductory side and give Patty Stiles from the surface bus area a chance to say hello. I think Patty is with us, yes?
Hi, Tom. Thanks for having me today. Hi, everyone. It's nice to be here. I am Patty Stiles. I represent the Surface Transit Division of New Jersey Transit. And Surface Transit encompasses bus operations, bus maintenance, along with access link, light rail, and private carrier. And within those areas, there's a host of opportunities. So for bus operations, it could be anything that would support the operations of our bus service, starting from bus operator through the instructors who train the bus operators, our supervisors who are out in the field, the supervisors at the control center. And then on the maintenance side, for example, we have other positions, quality assurance, making sure that the buses are properly maintained and that when they go out on the road, there aren't going to be any issues with the way they're functioning. And we also have a lot of opportunities within those garages for foremen who oversee the mechanics who work on those positions. So those are some of the positions for bus. And then within access link, light rail, and private carrier, for those divisions, there's a lot of opportunities as well through a lot of management jobs there and supporting all of those areas. So as we go along today, I really look forward to being a part of this and helping you along the way. So thanks, Tom.
No, thanks, Patty. That's wonderful. And you will have a chance because we're going to be talking about the job opportunities in each of these areas as we go along today and get into the real nuts and bolts of connection. But I did want folks to have a chance to meet you. I'd love if Vicki Frazier is there on the rail side, just to say a quick hello as well. Let folks know about you, Vicki.
Thank you, Tom. Can you hear me? It's not coming in.
Here we got you. Got your palm tree and everything, so you're great.
Oh, good, great.
Look at you. Look at you with your palm tree. Make us all jealous. But yes, please go ahead and tell us just who you are and just a quick note about Rail, Vicki, and then we'll get into the details later.
Yes, I'm Vicki Fraser, and I'm the Director of Talent Acquisition for the rail side of the business. We have several units that fall under a rail. We have the actual operations unit, mechanical, engineering, maintenance of way, and there are several jobs that will fall under those units that we will talk about later. I'm happy to be here and happy to be a part of Edge for Vets because I have a secret that the others don't have, is that I like to hire veterans, and my assistant is a veteran.
Ah, there you
go. He's very dedicated, disciplined, and I look forward to getting into our company many more veterans.
Thank you, Vicki. And we'll go into the detail of the, you mentioned jobs
later.
Yeah, yes. We're going to go into the, how vets can find jobs in the rail area, how they can apply, the whole process for that. And one more before we continue this process of pulling the program together. Gloria, on the police side, do you want to just say a quick hello?
Yes. Hi, everyone. And thank you for your service. Yes, my name is Gloria Vrabel. I oversee the hiring of New Jersey Transit Police. I've been working with them for the last 20 years of being with New Jersey Transit. So I'm very passionate about my recruiting role with the organization, with the police department. They not only have sworn police officer positions, but as well as non-sworn officer positions, such as they have a finance individual that they're in need of. They have a records individual they're in need of. They have an intel unit. They're looking for absolutely 100% sure of similar skill sets that you all have gained in the military. Teamwork, decision-making, stress management, attention to detail. Those are the type of skill sets that all the position, whether it's a sworn position or a civilian position, that our police department, as well as other departments within the organization on the bus and the surface transit corporate side, you have the skill sets. So we're hoping that you do apply to all these positions within New Jersey Transit. So again, thank you, and thank you for your service.
No, and thank you. I'm grateful to all four of our captains, if you will, in each of those areas, giving us an overview of that. I think what you're seeing, veterans, is that, New Jersey Transit is going beyond just those companies that say, oh, we support veterans. They're actually putting this program as a system in place to be able to support you. And you've got folks on the hiring side in each of these four areas who, as we go through the program today, I'm going to explain how they're going to know when you apply. But as you've been hearing, the whole objective is to help you gain an edge to get hired. You're going to apply online, and we'll describe the process. But as you go through the process and you submit a resume, etc., we're giving you a chance to create, in addition to that, a plan for success that articulates your strengths, because companies want to hire veterans who can bring strengths from the military in the areas of strong values and unique skills to the company. But the ball's in your court. You have to be able to articulate what those are. So we spent a lot of time on this in the prep session, session number 1. But following that session, I want to just highlight, we gave everybody in the cohort access to the online course. And I've been watching over the last couple of weeks as you've been working at your own pace to take our online course. and watch videos and do exercises and create statements in those 4 areas: vision, values, skills, and action. That you've been coming along great with them. Some of you are just joining us since that session. So I just wanted to underscore that everybody in this cohort is going to get from us, and I'll resend it again after today to just make sure everybody's got it. You're going to have a welcome letter that's going to give you access to the online course. And you can go and you create a password, and that's going to allow you to get in and out of that and be able to articulate your strengths in those areas and do it in a way that distinguishes you personally. And this is the video. I'm going to send you that as well. I'm not going to play it now, but I'm going to just show you that this is the link to the video that explains how that online course works. So for anybody who's just joining us new, you're going to get this along with access to it and a copy of the Ed Trevets workbook that you can use as you take the online course. The point of it is that we're looking to have you emerge at the back end with statements that articulate your strengths. And I asked Andre if I could take a sample from his plan for success. I showed you Andre earlier. He was the person who had been in the Army. He took Ed Trevets in the spring, and he got himself a job in the bus operation at New Jersey Transit, and largely off what he was able to do in articulating what he could bring to the company. And that's what we're seeking to do, is give you support to be able to articulate that in your own words. And as I said, there are statements in 4 areas. In the area related to values, this is a sample of what he wrote about how in the Army, he learned the 7 core values of the Army. He inculcated those so strongly, and you see them, expressed there, some of the ones that are so strongly ingrained in him that he carries them over now to everything he does. And that's what you want to do in an interview. You want to articulate what your values are, and then you want to go into the interview and tell the interviewer that you have them. And that's what he did, and he got hired. And again, you see, samples of some of those values around respect and selfless service. And he got himself a job in the bus operation, which is very customer service focused. And he was able to show how these values from the Army translate into customer service. They translate into respect and selfless service for others. And he was then able to use this plan to get himself hired. So that's what we want to see for everybody in the cohort this fall. Andre did allow me to share this. So I'm going to send you a sample. This is just a window into a piece of his plan. But I'm going to send everybody a sample of his full plan so you can use that as a guide for those of you who are continuing to work on your plan for success. And you're going to have all the way up until December to, if you've started on your plan, all the way up until December to stay on the platform and complete it. And again, I'll explain that at the end. But I did want to just highlight the final piece in this preparation before we get into a discussion of the job opportunities at Jersey Transit. Once you identify what your strengths are and you identify where you want to target them based on what area in the company interests you most and matches your skills, you want to create an action statement that articulates how you can use your values and skills. So in the first workshop, we talked a lot about your values and skills and how you get clear on them. Well, today what I'd like to do is just for, give our mentors a chance to underscore from Jersey Transit's point of view how important it is that you have values and skills you can bring. But I'd also like to give our veterans a chance to talk about how you've got values and skills from the military that you believe are a strong part of your asset base. And we'll just do a little bit of discussion around this to give you a sense of how to create that action plan. And then what we'll do is get into the specifics of the connection. But I'm going to just show you a quick video. By the way, this is from the online course. So this is what you watch, and then it helps you create that action statement. But I'm going to just show it to you. We'll talk about it on the other side.
There is no happiness without action, said William James. And the same is true in searching for a job. There can be no success without action. In this video, we'll show you how to pull everything together, including your values and skills, to create an action statement. Action is the payoff for the time you've invested in the translation process. Action is your ace of spades. Let's recap. In step one, you created a strong vision statement, which identifies the work you want to do for the career and the life that you want. Your vision statement is your ace of hearts. It reflects your passion. Next, you created an ace of diamonds, your value statement, to show companies that you have the values they are seeking. Then you created a skills statement, your ace of clubs. In combination, your values and skills reflect your leadership strengths and form an unbeatable asset, one that can set you apart in a job interview. But to seal the deal, to add an ace of spades, you need an action plan. Here's how to create a strong action statement. Print out your values and skills statements. Set them side by side and tell how you plan to combine your military values and skills to perform at a high level in whatever work you choose. That's action. You don't have to know who your employer is going to be at this point. You just have to know how you can apply your values and skills to perform at your peak. Your action statement is your ace of spades because that's what interviewers want to hear from you. They want you to tell them how you will use your asset, your military values and skills to excel at the work that you choose. Again, let's go to the circle for success. Your values and skills are your leadership strengths. They combine to give you a powerful asset. Your action statement communicates how you plan to put those values and skills into action, which in turn will put you on a path to achieving your vision. As we said earlier, you may well change your vision statement by the end of this process. You may well give it more definition before you submit it to us, but that's a good thing. Determining what you want in life, not what you think you want or what somebody may want for you, that's a lifelong process. The goal of Edge for Vets is to get you jump-started. And once you go through this strengths translation process, once you finalize and submit your plan for success, you'll be holding all the cards. In this case, 4 aces, to gain an edge in the jobs marketplace. That's the purpose of Edge for Vets, to give you a winning hand to land the job you want, for the career you want, most of all for the life that you want.
Okay, so saying that, you see how the objective in that final piece, and I'm just putting a fine point now on the whole preparation phase before we move into the detail on the connection piece. The final piece in that preparation phase is that action statement. You have to be able to tell how you're going to take the values and skills, and you're going to be able to, you have to go into the interview and tell in your own language, just, you know, this is what the course helps you do, express it in your own language as your personal strength, how you can use those values and skills to help, in this case, New Jersey Transit succeed. And that'll give you distinction in an interview. But I'd like to, you know, give some vets a chance to talk about values and skills that they developed in the military and how they propose to use them. But before I do, you see down below on the mentor side, the HR side, the question is, and I'm going to submit that New Jersey Transit, if they're like every other company, they covet people who can bring strong values and strong skills to the job. So if you have them, and again, you didn't have to be in the military to have strong values and skills, but the chances are, by being in the military and going in at 19, 20, 22, whatever, and having enormous responsibility put onto you at a young age and having to figure things out, you got very good at having values and skills that make you attractive to an employer. But again, the ball's in your court to express them. But what I'd like to hear on the corporate side is somebody from New Jersey Transit, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, Valerie, who has been is the head of HR, and Valerie, who worked, you know, tirelessly with us in the spring to create the foundation for this whole system. I believe Valerie has joined us. And Valerie, I'd like to give you, as the head of HR, a chance to say hello. But if you could sort of kick us off on this point that, you know, New Jersey Transit values vets, but the reason that you value them is because you recognize that they've got strong values and skills that they can bring to the workplace. And that's why you're interested in them. Ball's in their court to express it, but that you have this innate interest in them to start with. If you are there, Valerie, would you just please back me up on that point?
Yeah, sure, Tom, I'm here. Welcome, everyone, and welcome to the second part of the series for Edge for Vets. We're delighted to have you with us, and I'm happy that you are joining to have a chance to actually speak to the recruitment teams in terms of some of the questions that you may have about joining transit or some of the different divisions that we even have at the agency. I know that you heard from a few of the recruitment directors here. I kind of jumped in late, so I'm sorry, because I came in as Gloria was talking about the police department. But, as Gloria did mention, there are different positions throughout the different divisions, different departments, different positions within the departments, meaning if you were to go into rail operations, bus operations, even in the corporate side or police, just because it sounds like it's bus or rail doesn't mean that you would be on the front lines running the operations. We do have people on the back end in the administrative areas as well. So it's truly an entire ecosystem at New Jersey Transit to get what you see in the street out there. It's not just what you see outside front facing, it's a whole system on the back end that keeps the operation moving as well. So I just want to make sure that everyone is aware of that. I do also want to stress, and I did have a meeting with Tom last week or so where we discussed options that may not be available to anyone that's trying to get into our organization as well. And I say that because many times you may seek to go into a position just by what it looks like on the job description. You think this is suitable to you. And let's just say that through the vetting process, you're denied and you just are not selected for that particular role. That doesn't mean that you're not able to apply to any other position that you see fit on our website. Transit has so many different vacancies. We have so many people that apply to us daily that, we can't give a position to every person that's coming in through Edge for Vets for the first shot. But in the story that Tom relayed, as far as Andre, he was one of the ones that came in through Edge for Vets as a perfect example. He was looking to go into a position, I think it was for assistant conductor or an engineer. I think originally was an engineer. He wasn't selected for the engineer position. And then he tried to go for an assistant conductor role. He took the pre-employment assessment test and was not successful in the assessment test. So that was the second rejection. Reached out to Tom. Tom reached out to me. And he had also saw another position. I told him to not lose hope. Do not get discouraged because of it. Some of the positions are very niche jobs. So if you don't have the exact experience that we're looking for, you may not be suitable for that role particularly, but that doesn't mean that there aren't any other roles that would be suitable to you and for your skill set particularly. So just don't give up. Andre opted for the bus operator position. He ended up getting into that, passed the training, has his CDL now. This is all within like the month, or I want to say a month and a half, Tom, if I'm not mistaken. It's very recent. So I'm essentially just trying to stress to everyone that's on this call that although you're going to take advantage of the opportunities that are in front of you today, meeting with the recruitment groups, myself included, I'm here. Tom knows I will always be here for Edge for Vets. I worked with Tom to get this program up and running. But we're very committed to making sure that everyone gets a position and that anyone who wants to work for New Jersey Transit, who's a veteran, in the state of New Jersey, that we're able to find something suitable for you in the company.
Yeah, Valerie, and just thank you for that, because you're making a point about persistence, and we're going to go into that as when we start talking about the application process. Be persistent. If you don't make it the first time, keep going, keep going. Yeah. But if you could just back me up on this point that I'm making, that the agency covets people who have strong values and skills and can bring those values to the company. Now, you don't have to have been in the military to have strong values, but the chances are, and we saw it with Andre, this whole idea that, selfless service and respect, they were so strongly inculcated in him in the Army that he now carries himself over. He was able to go into the interview and convince the interviewer that he had those kinds of values. My point is that Jersey Transit, being a smart organization, is looking for people who have them. We believe that the vets in our cohort, and I'm going to give the vets in a moment a chance to talk to that point, but I just want to have you nail it down for us that Jersey Transit covets people who can exhibit strong values that they then can bring.
Absolutely. because you do have that edge, and I hate to use Tom's term, but because you have the edge of being in the military and knowing what a strict schedule or a strict environment is like, you're able to follow rules and regulations because and not necessarily question the rules and go and you do your own thing. You kind of have that regimented mentality already. And a lot of your values are, honesty, integrity, and all of these things that come along. That's really what transit's looking for. I mean, something so simple as like having a bus come on time every single day to show up at that stop every single day means that the bus operator has to be very diligent and coming to work on time to roll that bus out every day at the same time so that people can get to their work locations or wherever that they're headed on time and rely on that bus coming in every single day at that time. Same thing for rail operations as well. We find that many veterans that this is something that we don't have to train them on. For a regular civilian in the street, we have to enforce and kind of reiterate the importance of being on time, and on-time performance is what New Jersey Transit is rated on. When we look at the statistics, we're looking to see what our schedule is printed and how well that our operators or engineers are performing on time so that the public is able to get to their destinations at that time as well. Everyone relies on public transportation for something, be it to get to their doctor's office or to get to work, or, just because they don't feel like driving, a leisure thing. And everyone has that schedule that they're looking at before they make their plans. So we have to make sure that whoever gets into the position to run these operations have these instilled values in them, that, they're not going to try to cheat the system. They're not going to try to take any shortcuts to the rules. We do follow the FRA guidelines on the rail side. We do follow the DOT and FTA guidelines for bus. So anyone who's going to be working in the field or on the outskirts, they have to understand that we do have rules that we must adhere to in order for us to remain compliant. And I think that's something that's very easy for the veterans to understand and kind of respect coming into the industry. So the transition is a little bit easier for them.
Yeah, no, that's wonderful. I mean, what you're doing is you're underscoring the point that you recognize that you don't have to train them. They're bringing these with them. What I'd like to do before we move into this is whole part of this first half has been to put a fine point on the prep piece before we shift now into the connection piece. But putting a fine point on this idea of an action plan, I'd like to give. I see Martin is there. Traphagen, has joined us. I'd like to give you a chance, Martin, to just back me up on the point that, in the military, you inculcate values, you learn skills that, as Valerie says, you then they make you unique. And if you can, and that's what Edge for Vets seeks to do, is give you a chance to learn how to get clarity on them and express them. Valerie is saying, if you can do that, we know you have them, but if you can translate them, put them in your own words, which is what Edge for Vets helps you do, go into the interview and talk to them, then you're going to get that edge that is going to get that interviewer to lean forward. The company wants you to express them. Edge for Vets seeks to give you a chance to do it. I'd like to give you, Martin, a chance on behalf of all of our vets on the call. And again, I just, picked you, but if you could just share, what branch you were in and how you believe that you developed values and skills in there that are really like significant for you and do give you an asset that you take pride in.
I was in the U.S. Navy, and I think everybody with even just a modicum of basic military training, has been, certain values of just punctuality and a certain kind of precision in your written and verbal communication. Even if it wasn't a part of your general job, precision in your your note taking, your record keeping, your the everyday wearing of your uniform, and I don't know. I think those are some of the biggest things I got out of my military experience, at least. Not just the following of rules and regulations, but being able to convey information in a concise, functional kind of way.
Yeah, and you didn't go home until the job was over. It's not like, in the Navy, the whole idea with the mission is get the mission achieved, and you don't go
Absolutely.
home. So you develop that sense, and as Valerie says, if you can go into the interview, and thank you, Martin, for saying this, but I want all of the vets on the call to be thinking how this applies to you. If you could go into the interview and tell what your strength is from the military and just talk about it. That's what the Edge for Vets course is designed to do, is to give you practice in being able to do that. But then it comes down to the action piece. You have to go into the interview and you have to be able to talk to it and tell it. But what you heard from Valerie is you have reception on the other end. They are eager to bring people into the workforce who have those values and have those skills. We know you have them. The gap often comes when you don't have the support to be able to translate them and express them, and that's what we're seeking to do here.
I can honestly say for myself, just going through the course materials and stuff that you had sent me, because I missed out on the first part of the seminar, it's made me introspect about my military career in a way I never earnestly did before. There's certain things that I think I undervalued about my military experience and maybe hadn't thought about it in a while. So it's been beneficial for me, even already.
Well, thank you, Martin. And Valerie, as I switch over, because I'm going to switch over to the other PowerPoint so we can get into the actual jobs piece and the process for how you guys conduct the application process. If you want to just, underscore that Martin's on the right track, and anybody on the call who's thinking that way. Wait a minute, as Martin said, I got it. The course allowed me to get introspective, meaning get clarity on what my values and skills are from the military, and then get practice writing them down so that I can get comfortable expressing them. That's a powerful 1-2 punch. Clarity, comfortable, expressing, boom, you go into the interview like that, and you are definitely going to have an edge. And as I tee up the next PowerPoint, Valerie, and again, might be a little rough here on the technical side as we do, but if you could just speak to Martin and let him know, and anybody else on the call that's thinking the way he's thinking, that they are on the right track.
Yeah, for sure. Martin, I've seen a few people, kind of Walter Green, also shaking his head. I guess everything that we're saying kind of resonates with you, because all of you do have those skills that we need. You have those skills. Some of you may have some of those technical skills that we need, some skills that we can't necessarily come and find just out the gate with regular civilians. Many of that stuff would be trained in the military. And yeah, you have a lot of experience, believe it or not. Just the idea of making sure that your uniform is always, in full proper uniform, that's something that you would find to be, not important, but it is very important, because how you're able to present the organization on the outside means a lot to us. And this is a part of a simple training that you would think, you can train anyone to do that, but not everyone wears a uniform with pride, and you can't teach someone how to wear a uniform with pride.
Good stuff, Valerie. And by the way, can you see, I put up the PowerPoint that you did such a great job with in the spring, creating a lot of good information here. And while we have you, I'm going to give you and your team that we met earlier, Gloria, Vicky, everybody else, Patty, everybody a chance to talk to. We're making a shift here, folks. We're going now into the nuts and bolts of what the job opportunities are at New Jersey Transit. Get out a pen and paper if you want. I'm going to be, by the way, sending you this PowerPoint, so you're going to have this, to refresh yourself. But as we go through the process today, take notes for yourself, because the point I want to make is that New Jersey Transit is an agency. It's not like the private sector where, maybe you can meet somebody on a Friday and then they hire you and you start on Monday. There's a whole process that New Jersey Transit by regulation has to follow in order to consider applicants. And it could be very easy to fall in those cracks. So part of what we're seeking to do is to put a support system in place. First of all, to give you an awareness that there are people. You met, Valerie, who's the head of the whole HR system for New Jersey Transit, and then you met her team members there, and Lauren, our coordinator. You've got folks there working on the inside to make sure you don't fall in the cracks. But what we're going to do today is take you through the actual process so the cards can be in your hand to to follow the rules, follow the regulations, and therefore increase your chances. So what I'd like to do is, Valerie, while you had the baton there, I'm going to let you continue before we get into the each of your reps in each of the areas, but just give them a sense. I know you created this organizational overview as a way to let folks know, how New Jersey Transit operates. You've got the president, Kevin Corbett, but just go ahead and give a brief overview on how you're organized, and then we'll get into the job opportunities in each area.
Sure. So at the top of our organization, we have the president and CEO. Right now, his name is Kevin Corbett. Underneath Kevin, there are several other departments that fall in the different buckets of how our operation groups are and how our organization is distributed. So this is just kind of high level in terms of how the organization is broken down. However, there are so many different departments that report directly to Kevin Corbett now, but they all fall within one of these three buckets here. Surface Transit, which is the new title for the older bus operations. This area includes our access link, it includes private carrier, our bus operation side, as well as our light rail. Surface Transit has transportation, which is the different transportation services that I mentioned before. They do have those that work on the back end, which are the maintenance side, particularly like finance, which would be not under the corporate umbrella of finance, because every operation group has their own financial department as well. Service planning, in terms of coming up with a schedule, they have their own training department, labor relations as well. It's its own, like I said, ecosystem on that particular surface transit side. And that is the side that runs on overground, not on a railroad track. Rail operations are literally is everything that runs along the course of a railroad track itself. So within the rail operation side, you do have the transportation division. You also have the mechanical division. You have the engineering division, like structural engineering. It also has its own finance department and has its own service planning schedule department. They also have a labor relations division because the rail unions are different from the surface transit bus union. We also have in the rail operations side, their own training department to teach and kind of train those that are coming into the positions, the different entry-level positions, train them up to either become an operator, become a conductor. We have training programs for even someone who's going to be a car cleaner. They have to be trained on the rules and regulations of actually being in the field, working along those rail lines. On the corporate division, corporate is a little bit unique because they do have their own PD, which is the police department, but it falls under corporate's umbrella, but it's its own department in itself. So corporate, just think of all the administrative positions. Corporate finance is the overall vision of the entire organization rolls up to corporate finance. Communications and like the alerts, if you ever go on to our New Jersey Transit app, that's from the corporate side. If you were to check Twitter and you find like a tweet that's telling you about the train that's coming in late, that's our corporate communications division too. We do have customer service, which is if you have any issues or you see something, you must say something, you contact our customer service area. We have system safety, our regulatory affairs, we have human resources, we have a procurement department, which would probably be better suited to align with what happens in the military for procurement and supply chain, departments that come in with all of the supplies that happen and that we receive within the organization. The police department is its own separate area because we do have a police academy every couple of years or so. Gloria, or at this particular point, I don't even know if it's every couple of years because we've been having classes pretty frequently, but Gloria does have police trainees that she hires for, and they ultimately end up being full officers for the organization as well. And even within the police department, they have captains, you have sergeants, you have lieutenants, and so forth in the rankings. So that's just like a high level overview of how the organization is set up.
Yeah, and you see, you've got the organization, 12,000 employees, roughly 12,000. So those are 12,000 different jobs. And down here below, as Valerie was pointing out, each of these sub areas, these are where the jobs are. Those are jobs that get posted on the New Jersey Transit career site. As they open up, those jobs to do those functions are listed on the career page. And we're going to show you how to search that, how to apply. What I would like to do is, you met the person on Valerie's team overseeing each of these 4 areas. Valerie, you did a wonderful description of what the area is, so I don't think we need to repeat that. But what I would like to do is give, and I think Lauren is handling corporate, just talk to, you see frequent career opportunities within corporate include, and just talk to, there is a regular rotation of different kinds of jobs that open up fairly often. They are listed on the career page, but just give folks a sense on the corporate side, Lauren, if you will, about what makes working there exciting.
What makes working on the corporate side exciting? For me, it's really exciting to work in corporate because we get to be a part of every facet of how to make, like I said, the buses, the trains, and the light rails run. I want to say that there's a couple of skills that almost all of our corporate positions really require that I think veterans are really well suited for. This includes, first of all, very clear communication skills, strong organizational skills, strong people skills, a real attention and an eye to detail. And like I said, that comes up in really just about every corporate posting that we put forward. You can see here the frequent career opportunities over on the corporate side include customer service associate, customer service representative. Those are both sort of back end in our offices and also on the front line, like at our stations. Engineers, if you are an engineer, you better email me. I would like to talk to you. We are building a bridge. I need you. Come find me if you have an engineering background. Also construction, come find me. I would like to talk to you. We need you. And then of course, I noticed that I missed this one earlier, system safety. So we have a whole department at New Jersey Transit that deals with ensuring that our system is safe, not only for our riders, but also for the communities that surround our systems and for the employees who work on and run our systems. So there are also, I know we just actually closed several positions around safety education at New Jersey Transit. Those come up fairly frequently. And those types of training positions are, you can find them throughout corporate. So if you like to teach, if you have Tom's special skill set around enthusiastically running a Zoom presentation for lots of folks and keeping everyone engaged, like that's a really good skill also to bring to New Jersey Transit. I hope I've conveyed my excitement about all these jobs. I love them all. I would do them all if I could.
No, I think just your face did it, Lauren. We could see the excitement in your face. And that's really the point here, folks. Edge for Vets is not about just let's get a job that can last me till January or February or whatever. It's all about tapping into your passion, using the Edge for Vets Plan for Success program to identify what is your passion, and then being able to match that to the job that is available. And Lauren went through a list of jobs that are there. And as you see, Lauren, every day she wakes up and loves to go to work. And that's what we have. That's what we want for you, a job that can lead to a career and the life that you want. So maybe corporate is it, but maybe the police is it as well. And I know Gloria's on the call. You met her earlier. Gloria, if you want to just, again, Valerie did a nice overview of the system, but if you could just talk about the jobs that open up quite frequently in that area.
Yeah, absolutely. We have been testing twice a year. We put one of our largest classes, a class in this past group. We hired about 28 individuals into a police academy. So we are definitely increasing in size. I always like to say New Jersey Transit Police is one of the best kept secrets in the police department, for a police department. They have complete police arrest powers throughout the whole state of New Jersey, obviously, and New York, basically anywhere our trains and our buses go. We are anticipating another big test in the spring of 2022. So as Lauren is excited about her bridges, I'm excited about my police department. It is a growing department that not only has officers, but as Valerie had mentioned, they have a ranking command individuals similar to the military. We also have specialized units, K9 unit, hazmat team, OEM unit, undercover detectives. Some of those individuals that are on the train sitting next to you could very well be one of our undercover police officers dressed as you and I are dressed, but they're there protecting and serving the transit system. So yes, we are actively hiring right now for the police department. We will be advertising on the policeapp.com website. We do not advertise on, we use a third party to accept applications and resumes for the police department. So if you are interested, I would encourage you to register as soon as we get off the call today through Police App. And the way that works is Police App will advise you as soon as we have a date that we're going to start accepting resumes for the police department. But we also have, like I had mentioned earlier, some civilian positions. Communication dispatcher is just that, our 911 dispatch center, control center that plays a big part in the police department and answering emergency calls for them. That department is also growing. Anytime you basically hear that New Jersey Transit as an organization is expanding, which it very well is continuously, you need more police officers. So because of all the expansion within the organization, we're looking to hire more police officers, which if you have more police officers out in the field, you need more dispatchers to receive calls from our police officers. Another popular position, which is a great stepping stone for our police officers, is our fair inspectors for the fair enforcement unit. Those are the individuals that work on our light rail line in Hudson County, in the Newark City subway, as well as South Jersey, the River Line, Camden, Trenton area. And they basically are very similar to a class 1, class 2 type of officer, do not have arrest powers, but are able to ensure that the passengers that board on these different light rail lines have made the proper fare payment before boarding on the lines. And if they don't, the passenger does receive a ticket, a summons, that the individual can very well fight the ticket. And then our fare inspectors go to court and basically they prosecute any fare violators. So they're learning there how to communicate with prosecutors, with judges. So they are building those relationships with our fellow police officers because they don't have the power of arrest. And sometimes they do encounter problems with the passengers that board on the light rail line. So if they can use somebody had mentioned communication skills earlier, if they can use their communication skills to de-escalate problems with the passenger and they're not carrying a weapon, they're going to be a amazing police officer if hired. And they're building those relationships with the police department. So a fare inspector is a great way to get into the police department and really understand the organization and the light rail line, basically the police department in a smaller scale. And then you have our intel unit. We do have an intel unit as well. And individuals come in as intel analysts for the organization as well. So keep in mind, if you are looking to really try to understand what New Jersey Transit Police is all about, the best way to come in is as a civilian and understand the behind the scenes of what happens, like a dispatcher and a fare inspector. We're actively hiring. Those positions are posted also on Police App, my fare inspectors and my dispatchers. So please, if you have those skills, which I'm almost 100% positive you do, as military individuals who have the discipline and the leadership, that's exactly what they're looking for. So I encourage you to please apply.
Yeah, Gloria, and information that you have, we're going to be transmitting out to folks. So like you talk about the apps, I just want our vets to know, don't worry, we're going to be transmitting all of this to you as a follow-up. But based on Lauren, Gloria, the next, Vicky, you got a high bar to follow in terms of enthusiasm here. So if Vicky is still with us, you want to just talk quickly about the opportunities, the frequent opportunities on a career level in your rail operations, if Vicky is with
Yes,
us.
I hope I can make you as
Oh, there you are.
excited as Gloria and Lauren has. So basically what we do, we're looking for people to service our equipment. So there's always a need for electricians. Don't let the title fool you. You don't need to be a certified electrician. You need to know a little about electronics, maybe wattage, current, voltage, just the basics, and to be able to pass an entry-level test for the electrician's position. We are also looking for trackmen, people who are interested in heavy labor type work, digging, maintaining tracks, putting on the ballast, anything of that sort a track person would do. And some people just like manual labor. Think of it as probably similar to some types of construction jobs. We're also looking for ticket agents that will be heavy face-to-face customer service, along with cash handling. So if you worked in the commissary as a service person, anything that handled cash that's applicable for that position. We're also looking for rail car cleaners, and what they basically do is they keep a fleet clean. We're looking for machinists. While it's not like a machinist in, say, a production type job, you need to know, be familiar with the tools that are used, familiar with measurements, and just pass the basic entry-level test, and you'll leave the rest up to us. We'll train you. We're also looking for pipe fitters, and it's basically a plumber. So you'd have to be licensed for that position. And these positions are open year round. We're also looking for, and we're always looking for assistant conductors along with locomotive engineers. We have to put a class in. It's about a 20 to 22 month training program. And we put in 25 candidates, a class of 25 every 2 to 3 months. So we're always looking for those to fill those positions on a regular basis.
That's great. Vicky, thank you. That's 3 for 3 on enthusiasm. And one more before we get into the nuts and bolts of the application process. I'm going to tee it up for Patty. Go ahead, Patty. I know that surface transit is growing, expanding. You're looking for people. And I think you made the point in our last workshop that this is a wonderful avenue into the agency. You come in and bus, and then the world opens for you from there. Do you want to just pick up the baton and highlight some of the opportunities that are available on a regular basis with you?
Absolutely, Tom. Thank you so much. So as I mentioned a little earlier, surface transit does encompass different divisions, but I just want to speak for a minute about bus operations, which is our largest area. And I know that we talked a little while ago about someone, I think it was Andre, who joined as a bus operator. And that's fantastic. And because if he is seeking other opportunities down the line, there's many avenues for bus operators within the bus operations, such as instructors in operational training, regional supervisors, garage management, garage supervision. There are a host of many opportunities. And in fact, today, I'd like to share that many of our top leaders, the very top, have started off in supporting roles, either as bus operators or in some other type of position, because this industry, specifically, I think the bus side, lends itself to growth and learning the business from the ground up. That's not to say that you have to do it that way, but for some of our jobs, for example, if you like instruction, you do have to have operated the bus. Like who best to teach someone how to drive the bus than someone who's done it. But I do have a couple of jobs I wanted to talk about. And if you would like, and my contact information is there, please send me your resume directly. Our team is actively interviewing for a regional supervisor. And for that position, you do not have to have been a bus operator. So there's two types of regional supervisors. There's you're lending support out in the field to our bus operation, to our bus operators. And we're looking for individuals who have the very attributes that all of you have. Typically, if you're out in the field supporting a bus operator, there might probably be some kind of an issue, an accident. We need someone who's calm and cool and collected and knows how to communicate and attend to situations and to interface with the employees who will probably need assistance. And then we also have that same position inside the control center, which is at a console, and you are providing support, not quite like an air traffic controller or anything like that, but along those lines where if our operators are in distress, they're going to call into the control center. So that position is currently not on our website. It just came down, but I am absolutely open to anyone who wants to send me the resume for that. We also have a couple of positions for terminal supervisors over at the Port Authority. That position is no longer posted. There's some timelines associated with these, but I'm going to accept resumes if you want to send them over. Some of these, the supervisory position at the Port Authority is part-time right now, but we generally, when we do have a full-time opening, we absolutely consider our part-timers who know our organization. So if you're in a position where you can possibly take a part-time job, I would encourage you to do that as well. But quickly, apart from those jobs that I just spoke about, if you have any type of automotive background, any type of inclination, experience with respect to maintenance on a vehicle, diesel mechanics, we are in desperate need of diesel mechanics. And so we have opportunities as well on the maintenance side in quality assurance and foremen. The foremen at the garages are a critical role. They're overseeing everyone that's working on those buses. And we have hired a lot of people out of the military because they have experience with heavy equipment. And you're not going to be in a position where you're turning wrenches, but you do need to know how to supervise someone who is. So I look forward to working with all of you. And Tom, thanks for having me. And if anyone has any questions, you're welcome to always reach out.
Patty, 4 for 4 in enthusiasm. Thank you for doing
Sure.
there and nailing it. As you see, vets, New Jersey Transit offers a wonderful home for you. I mean, Lauren mentioned that term last time. It's a home. It's a community of people. You're getting a chance to meet the folks who oversee the hiring in each of these areas. We're trying to make it personal for you. And that is what, when I say Edge for Vets is a support program, that's what we're intending to do. And it goes beyond words. You see it for yourself here. I spent a lot of time on this. I wanted you to hear from each of the folks who coordinate the 4 areas. And you're going to get the list that I'm showing you on the screen today as a follow-up from me, so you can see all of these jobs that our team has highlighted for you. But I'm just very, very grateful to all of our coordinators for taking the time to go into the detail to make these words on the page come alive. So saying that, I'm not sure if Valerie is still with us. Valerie might want to, if not, Lauren, I'll work with you to highlight this. We're now getting ready to wrap up the program, folks. You heard about, prep in advance of Connect. Before you go into an interview, you want to get clarity on what your strengths are, be able to express them comfortably, to be able to gain that edge, to get somebody to say yes to you. The next part is you got to know what the opportunities are. We spent a lot of time going through the hiring areas within New Jersey Transit and the jobs that are specific to each of those areas. Well, now the final piece before we wrap up today is the application process, the compensation package, but then how do you apply? And again, it's got a regimen to it, and it's going to take some description. So I would like to start that by giving Valerie, if she's still there, since you created this page, the compensation package piece, Valerie, and if not, Lauren, if you could pick that up for it. Valerie had to leave.
I'm here, Tom.
Oh, you are? Great. Okay.
Yep, I'm here. So we offer exceptional compensation for our employees, and the compensation packet overall includes our salary, and many of the positions, depending on if they're unionized or if they're hourly, you do have options for overtime pay, and it's a significant amount of options that you have as well. We have a great benefits package for health, dental, vision. We do have great retirement plans, some depending on where you choose to work, whether it be in the operation groups or the police department, you do have retirement plans as well. And we do offer paid vacation and holidays. And depending again on the position that you go into, you may have floating holidays along with those traditional state or federal holidays that we do have.
Wonderful. All right. Well, now saying that, here's what it all comes down to, folks, the application process. And Barry, why don't you just continue on this piece, because it is a process. It's not just, you got to follow the rules, and there are rules and they got to be followed. If you don't follow them, you know, you go off the track. We're talking transit, you go off the track. We want to keep you on the track. And so highlight these bullets, Valerie, because this is how the system works, folks.
Correct. So, you know, I can't stress to this any more than Tom kind of just touched on a little bit, but yes, this is a complete process that you must follow. And all of these steps may not, you know, be applied to the position in which you seek to go into. However, the very first step that's very pertinent in this whole process is completing an employment application. Many times applicants would go online and they thought that they submitted an app, but they never hit submit or save. And the application that you thought in your mind was submitted, but we never received your app. Working with Edge for Vets, you do have a connection. You can contact Tom. You know, Tom can always ping someone on our team just to say, hey, you know, someone did apply from our group and we want to just check in. But the other side to this is that you have the opportunity to look at it on your end as well. So everyone who does apply, you have to create a username and your own password. Make sure that you do so, because you can go into the system on your end and check to see what the status of your application is. I do want to stress again that we do receive hundreds of applications a day. So keep in mind that the recruiters do have to go through all of these applications daily. The timeline typically is like between 5 to 7 days for the recruiters to respond back, so that if you're looking at it on your end, you'll be able to review and see at what point your application is, what your status is, if you're moving forward, if you've been put into like a testing bucket, you know, requesting for an interview or so forth. You can see that on your side if you log into the system using the same username and password that you created the application with. Part of creating that application, the next step may be, depending on the job that you go into, is these pre-employment assessment tests. So some positions like a bus operator, or, well, bus is a little bit different, but if you were to go on to like rail operations side, you know, Vicki Frazier is here. She can always piggyback off of what I'm saying. But if you go into like trying to get an assistant conductor position, or you're trying to get into a position as an engineer, you will have to go through a pre-employment assessment test to make sure that you do have the competencies that would allow you to potentially be successful in our training program. And the only way for us to determine this, it's not a job that someone would have experience in. We do have some applicants that are engineers and they work at different railroads and they're looking to come to New Jersey Transit, but they still have to do their assessment test as well. So this is something that we just have to make sure that with you passing our pre-hire assessments, that there's a good chance that you may succeed through the program, which means you would essentially land the position full time. These pre-hire assessments are not across the board. So if you're going into a corporate position, You may not be asked to participate in a pre-hire assessment. It really just depends on the position in which you're going into. You may also be exposed to training material prior to you taking your pre-employment test. Depending on the test itself, the recruiter may reach out to you and tell you to read something or do like a practice test just to see if this is something that you'd be interested in pursuing. You'd also have an opportunity to have some practice in terms of reading comprehension and certain things along those lines prior to being invited to take the test. As far as interviews go, everyone who comes into New Jersey Transit that has to work for us must be interviewed by a full panel. The panel may comprise of maybe 2 people minimum, up to possibly 3 or 4, depending on who needs to be a stakeholder in the decision to hire for whichever position that you choose to go into. The background verification check, that's a very thorough check at New Jersey Transit. We do check for criminal activity, we check social media accounts, we do check references, we check your education, just to name a few. So, we do a very thorough check for anyone who is employed at our organization, and we do that because we're trying to ensure safety for the public as well as for the employees that work for us. And again, lastly, depending on the position that you do go into, you may have to complete and clear a medical examination. Like I mentioned, the assistant conductor, locomotive engineer, depending on if you have your DOT card or not for bus operations. To be an operator, you will have to be medically cleared as well. Those are just the, immediate operation positions, but we do the same thing for mechanical and any other position that's on the back end, even including a person who would be cleaning the cars or the buses too.
Valerie, and again, just at the top about completing the application, I just want to underscore a point that you made. Because this has many steps to it, at the very first step, when they complete an application, there's a little drop-down bar that says, how did you learn about New Jersey Transit? And one of the entries, the options, is to choose Edge for Vets. If you are an Edge for Vets participant, make sure that you click that Edge for Vets drop-down bar, because then that allows us to know who from the program is in the system. And as I mentioned earlier, we're looking to mitigate against folks falling through the cracks. So be sure to do that. I just wanted to underscore that point that you made about how important that is. All right, the final page now, folks. We're getting ready to wrap up here, but how to apply. This is game time. This is what it all comes down to. You heard Valerie say, make sure you do the application process. It starts with going to the career page and learning what the opportunities are. I'm going to give everybody in the cohort this page as a follow-up after the session today. And I'm also going to, as I mentioned, take the video that we're making of this, and I'm going to give it to everybody as well, so you can be watching all of this stuff as a refresher for yourself. But I can't underscore enough times, keep checking that career page. And again, Valerie, if you want to just take us through the bullet, the open positions are shown on that career website. And that's where they are. That's where you're going to find them. We talked a lot about the different kinds of jobs, but when they open up, that's where they come, and they can go quickly. You got to apply for them, but new ones are coming on all the time. So with that as a prelude, Valerie, if you could bring us home with this final step, the application process, just take us through these steps.
Yeah, sure. So we only post positions that are open and in active recruitment. So if it's not an open position, if it's a position that we know that will be coming down at some point, or we may have an incumbent selected, we are not going to have that position posted any further. Nor will we have a position that's been posted for a long time unless it's going to be a repost. So I just want to keep that in mind. If you do see something on our website, please apply to it right away, because we do receive, like I said before, hundreds of applications that do come in. So some positions may get pulled down just because there are too many applicants that have applied. So to apply online, it has to be an open job, and you must go to the NewJerseyTransit.com career site. You must create a user profile and select an email address, as I stated before, that you check often and use regularly, because communication that we prefer at New Jersey Transit is email. That is the preferred mode of communication with us. So it's important that you're using your email, you're checking your email. If you have a smartphone and your email's attached to your smartphone, just be sure that you get push notifications so that if, in case the recruiters do contact you, that this is not something that you would forget and not be able to attend to. When you go to the website, you'll go and search all jobs. And unless you know a specific job, particularly that you're looking for, you want to be a mechanic, let's say Vicki mentioned pipe fitter or a plumber or any other position that is a specialty, you can go in and type a specific job title, and all the positions that would come up under that particular mechanic job, for example, would pop up. You check the requirements of the job to see if it's something that matches your skill set, and you hit apply now. From there, you read the directions, complete all the required fields. One in particular is the Edge for Vets, which is the where did you hear about us section on that application that Tom just mentioned. In order for you to get the edge that helps you in this particular program is for us to know that you're coming from Edge for Vets. We typically look at Edge for Vets as a priority for us. We do have several priority groups that we work with. Edge for Vets is truly one of them. So if we know for sure that there's someone who's coming in through the Edge for Vets program, we check often to see how many people are moving, what's happening with the Edge for Vets participants, so that no one falls through the cracks and that your process is a little bit more quicker. It's moving a little bit more rapidly than someone who would be applying who's not in this particular vet program. When you select Edge for Vets on the drop-down menu, make sure that you either type in Tom Murphy in the specifications area, or you type workshop, series 1, series 2 workshop, something that alludes to make sure that you do and know Tom, that you have participated in Edge for Vets, and that you do have a vested interest in obtaining employment with us. It is also important that at the end of your application, you hit submit. And like I said before, many times people assume that they have applied to us fully, but they have not hit the submit button. And we just never got the application, and you never fully applied to us because you did not hit the last button, which requires you to submit your application to us. And in order for you to check the application, which I said to you before, you can always go back in, log back in using your same email address and the password that you signed up with us to go into your application status to see where exactly you are in the recruitment process. So that's something that you can look at on your end. Some people look at this every day. Some people, give it some time. I do let everyone know, though, give us some time, just because we do receive so many applications, just so that we're not getting inundated and our recruiters or the directors of recruitment are not getting inundated with questions. Just give it some time. Some jobs, I know for bus, for instance, Patty in the past has mentioned it can take upwards of a month or so, or two, depending, before you get a response back. And that is specifically because we're in HR, we can handle the movement of someone's application, but we're not in operations where we don't know if they're holding the job right now, if they're going to kind of put out the position, or they're interviewing at this moment. Like we're pretty much dependent upon what's happening in the operations side before we can move applicants through our process in HR. So just bear with us, and just know that if you're coming in through Edge for Vets, that you do have a priority. You are being reviewed with us. Just bear with us and give us some time.
Wow, that's wonderful. And patience, persistence, persistence. Like you said earlier, if you don't, Valerie, if you don't get the job, the first job you applied for, don't
Correct.
give up. Go for another one. Go back to that career page, find another one, stay with it. But then also patience. And I would just like to underscore Valerie's point. That last bullet is the officials that you met today, the HR team members that work for Valerie in each of those 4 areas. They're your point people. They're the people who are the first line. They're receiving the application. They're the critical people for you to know exist back there, because they're the ones that are receiving the application and then directing it into the hiring area, where somebody out in the field who's running the operation and needs the personnel, that HR person that you met today is the coordinator with that person out in the field that has the need and does the hiring. And as Valerie said, give it time. Don't get frustrated. Don't lose patience, because a lot of time the coordinator that you met today is out there trying to get in touch with the person in the field, but maybe the person in the field has an emergency or something's going on and it's not immediately that they can connect. So have patience, hang in there, know that we are serious about providing a support system for you so that you don't fall through the cracks. But it was very important for us to go through the process today so that you could understand the actual mechanics of it. You're all going to get, I'm going to just sum up to the program today, you're all going to get a copy of this video so you can watch it again to refresh yourself and listen to some of the fine points in the description. You're going to get the PowerPoint itself that's going to have all of the detail on it so you can refresh yourself. I do want to say, back on my point about the plan for success, you all have been invited to take the online course. If you wish to do it, the proactive people do it. As I said, up to 8 out of 10 who do our system do get hired, and you're going to have until December 15th to complete the course. So October 21st, we invited you, but now all the way through December 15th, you're going to have a chance to watch the videos and take the exercises and create that plan for success that prints out and goes with your resume to give you the edge. I will be sending you the link to our website that explains, as Valerie and the team created this wonderful description of the process. I'm going to be giving you that so that you can see, again, all the specifics of what you got to do on your end to make sure you don't fall through the cracks. But the final piece in support that we're giving you is the support from the Department of Labor team that works with us. As I mentioned in the first session, we work with partners who source vets to us. You all came to us through a flyer that we gave out to sourcing partners. And I know we've got Susan Costain from the transitioning from the military bases out there with us today. I know we've got John Gobatasi and I believe Ms. Crowley from Montclair State were part of the call today. Those are the folks that put the information out. You come to us, and then we give you this program. Now in the back end, we're going to be connecting you to those folks who did send you so that they can give you support on the back end. You'll be going back to those of you that are at Montclair State. We're going to be referring you back to your vet coordinators there. Those folks who came to us through Department of Labor, and many of you did. I'd like to just, if Wayne is still with us, give Wayne a chance just to underscore the seriousness that we give this. We're working very hard to take the 23 one-stops around the state and find managers and DevOps at those one-stops who can be a support for you, that after you take the class and you are working on your plan for success and you do the application process, they can be a personal one-to-one counselor for you in your home community to help you navigate and stay encouraged and not give up the ship as you have to exhibit patience waiting for the process. Wayne, if you are there, I would love to just acknowledge you and your team for all the great work that you're doing at Department of Labor to support our veterans, and just back us up that we're serious about continuing that support as a follow-up to these workshops. I know we had some technical problems with Wayne earlier, and maybe those technical problems are continuing. So let me just, again, underscore our gratitude. And I know some of the DOL counselors were on the call today as well. So I want to thank you all from sourcing partners who now are on the back end going to be follow-up supporters. And I'll just give Lauren and Valerie a chance to, close this out for us. And today what we were seeking to do was to exhibit to you in a tangible way that New Jersey Transit is serious about accelerating veterans into the workforce. So serious that they've brought in Edge Vets to work with them to put it in a system of support, which we've gone through all of the detail on. Valerie,
Yeah, sure.
You want to just do a quick close?
Yeah, so, I'm very enthusiastic and very eager about having the veterans who have been a part of this workshop here to surf our website and certainly apply to any position that you see fit. Like I stated before, it's hard for me to not stress this, but I'm trying to do so in the most composed way as possible. But we have several openings, and we're eager to have those that we find to be qualified, as well as if your personality and your value and your skill set certainly matches, just throw your hat in the ring and see what comes of it. You'd be surprised what skills that you do have that you don't realize is something valuable to us. See apply and see what comes of it. Many times people are surprised that they get a call back for a position and like, I didn't even think I would meet. And yes, you do meet the requirements, and we'd like you to come in and take a pre-employment test and see how good you perform. So please, everyone, just make sure that you do check out our website. I'm in full support of this program, myself, as well as the members of the executive management team, our board members. We have so many people backing this program, backing your success. This is the state of New Jersey, and we're looking to support everyone who works in this state, who's going to work in our state, even if you're coming from a neighboring state nearby and you're interested in working at transit. Certainly throw your hat, see what comes of it, and I'm sure you'd be happy at working at this place and working with our organization in the long run.
Thank you, Valerie. And Lauren, our coordinator, want to offer a final word as well?
I have, this is my first time running the Edge for Vets program with Tom and with Valerie. It's been a total pleasure. I've learned so much from you guys and the conversations that we've had. And, in the background, Valerie and I were talking about how enthusiastic I am about New Jersey Transit. I love working here, and it would make me like this, I can repeat all the stuff about how we have executive support and how important it is to New Jersey Transit to have veterans come in and work for us. But I want to just say on a personal note, I love my job. I want you guys to have the opportunity to love your job too. And that can happen here. So really looking forward to seeing your applications come in. If you'd like somebody to read your application, if you want some feedback, if you just want to learn more, please reach out to me, to any of our other recruitment leads here, to Valerie, and also, of course, first stop Tom, because I know he cares about this so much too.
Yeah, and I'll make
that's all.
Thank you, Lauren, for that offer of support. I'll make sure that everybody has your email, and I know Patty on the bus side invited folks to contact her directly as well. So I'll make sure that everybody has that contact. I'd like to give the final word. I mean, the point I've been trying to make is that, New Jersey Transit is a humanistic organization where you've got people who are backing up the point that they support veterans with leaving their desks and giving, time to provide this support and this description of the opportunities. You've heard from them that they value you. Is there any, I'd like to give the floor to Yvette. We heard from Martin earlier that this process has been helpful to him. Is there any vet that wants to offer a close to say that, the process of getting this support from New Jersey Transit has been helpful to you on the vet side? Anybody want to just offer that word?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah. Who's that, Walter? Who's saying that?
This is Walter Green.
Hi, Walter.
I just wanted to personally thank each and every one who is a part of this program. I just happened to be doing a search and it came up, Edge for Vets. I said, let me just check it out and see what it was about. And it's a wealth of information, and I'm definitely going to apply myself to get get myself in the best position possible to move the process along and get myself into a certain job or position that I'm seeking. And I just want to thank each and every one of you.
Walter, very eloquent on behalf of everybody. So thank you all for your attention.
Tom, I do want to mention something too. For anyone who does apply to any position at Transit, even if you look at it and think of, okay, we had someone who was a part of Edge for Vets, they started out as a bus operator. Believe it or not, the SVP, General Manager and Senior Vice President for Bus Operations, started out as a bus operator as well. And many times we have positions of senior leadership that they've started at the entry-level position. They've worked their way up over time to be the senior manager or senior leadership and a part of the C-suite at our organization. So don't be discouraged if you're coming in starting out as an operator, a mechanic, a car cleaner. It may take you a year or two before you get into a management position. We do have a career trajectory. There are career ladders at Transit as well. So it doesn't mean that if you're in this job, you're stuck there for life. You have a plethora of opportunities, a true organization that tries to hire from within before we try to go external. So there are a lot of career progressions and promotional opportunities once you get your foot in the door. That's all, Tom.
Wonderful point, and let's make a deal that one of the 60 members of our cohort that does get hired and goes on someday to succeed Kevin and become the president, we will celebrate that person from Edge for Vets for taking the leadership of the agency. So thank you, everybody, for participating today, and you'll be hearing more from us as follow-up from me on the email side, but then we're going to be connecting you to folks out in the 23 one-stops and at the colleges that can offer you one-to-one support as you navigate the process. Thank you, everybody, and look forward to you being successful, and our interest is to support that. So have a great afternoon, everybody, and see you all soon.
Good luck, everyone.